this where the Lolita meetup is supposed to be?
Yep, this is the one. Hold up. Chord breakdown.
Oh yeah, sure, I can do a chord breakdown. So I'm wearing Unicorn Macro and Dessert Station by Lolita and Lolitas, and I have the matching head bow for Unicorn Macro and Dessert Station on, and I also have the matching OTKs for Unicorn Macro and Dessert Station as well. And oh, I also got the matching choker for Unicorn Macro and Dessert Station. It really was hard to get this one. And I also have on, this cute
I'm sorry, but I don't think this particular meetup is for you. You're not really that much up to standard.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there like something like wrong with my coordinate or something like that? Or is
No, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to have to ask you to leave.
Oh, well, okay then. See ya. Oh, hey, is this where the Lolita meetup is supposed to be?
Yep, this is the one. Hold up. Chord breakdown.
Of course I can do a chord breakdown. So I'm wearing Unicorn Macro and Dessert Station by Lolita and Lolitas, and I decided to mix it up a little bit. So I have the Candy Sprinkle head bow by Angelic Pretty, and I also decided to throw in some bear ears. You know me, I love my bear ears. And I have on some Angelic Pretty wrist cuffs, just in case. And I wanted to do, same brand, but different piece. So I have the Popcorn Club tights in the pink colorway. As you can see, I'm kind of doing a little black and pink, okay? Black pink in your area. You're a pink purse and everything, pink wrist cuffs, okay? Pink and black with my little hair accessories too and everything. And, well, yeah, that's my chord breakdown.
Now that I like to see. You, my dear, can come right on in.
Oh my gosh, thanks! I would love to join you guys. Hi guys, and welcome back to another video here on the channel, and this is going to be a part of our Lolita tips for new Lolitas. It's been quite a while since I've made a video for this series, and it is by far the series that you guys enjoy the most on my channel, so I apologize for it being so long for another addition to the series. And this is a video that I wanted to make for quite a while. I think I had the idea for this like last year, and I just didn't really have the time to record it because I was working and everything, and I was always just so tired after work and whatever, but finally decided to set aside the time for me and my special guest who joined me for the little skit in the beginning of the video to sit down and record the basic premises of this video, which, if you could not tell by the title or the skit alone, it is, are full sets bad? Now, I know that might sound like a peculiar question if you're a newer Lolita, like, why would a full set be bad? What's wrong with full sets? And by the way, if you're super new to the Lolita community, sphere, and things of that nature, a full set is basically like, so when it comes to Lolita and your coordinates, and it comes to like your full coordinate, typically how dresses are sold is in some form of a set, especially when it comes to big brands like Angelic Pretty or maybe the Star Shines Bright, and of course some Taobao brands here and there. They are usually sold as like a set. So you'll have, say, a JSK or an OP, and it will have a matching head bow, of course, that will go along with the dress. This is obviously not the matching head bow, but this is the matching head bow for another dress. And so you'll have the matching head bow. Usually there will be an accompanying OTK set or some tights that also match the main print of the dress. Sometimes, if it's for a big brand, you'll have some matching wrist cuffs. There can be matching choker, matching purses sometimes, matching shoes even occasionally. And basically, it's like you're basically wearing the entire set the way it was sold and presented in just the whole shebang, basically. And so you may be like asking yourself, well, why would full sets be bad? Why is that ever a bad thing? And that sort of brings me to something that is not uncommon in the Lolita community. It's actually very common, where at a certain period of time, you will kind of start getting criticized for relying on full sets a little bit too much. Now, I don't think you're ever going to have to worry about not being allowed to join a meetup because you're wearing a full set, because realistically speaking, there is nothing wrong with full sets. Obviously, that's the way the, brands are selling the dresses to you, so how could there be anything wrong with wearing the full set? However, it does start to become a little bit of a stigma in the Lolita community if you wear only full sets. So let's talk about it. So effectively, as I already explained, most Lolita releases in this day and age are sold as a set in some way, shape, or form. Now, when it comes to smaller brands on Taobao or indie releases, generally speaking, because that is very expensive, usually you're only going to see a dress and a matching head bow. You're not usually going to see like the whole shebang of things like OTKs, wrist cuffs, chokers, other little small trinkets, shoes. Even with Angelic Pretty today, you don't often see like matching purses or shoes anymore. Some dresses have them, like Milky Cross I know has a matching shoe set and a matching purse that kind of goes with the cross theme. But these days they don't really release that quite as often. Sometimes you'll see matching wrist cuffs, sometimes you'll see just small little trinkets that match. Jewelry, of course, you'll always see like a necklace here and there that matches. But generally speaking, most large companies are going to release a lot of pieces for you to wear with your dress. And full sets have their advantages when it comes to newer Lolitas. When you're a brand new Lolita and you don't have a lot in your wardrobe, full sets are great because you don't really want to go out of your way to try to pick up pieces that are going to end up not working. And a full set is very, very safe. You know it's going to work. It's very, very hard to mess up a full set because they're handing it all to you. At worst possible scenario, like maybe the colorways are a little bit off, like maybe someone was able to get the matching OTKs, but they only got them into the colorway, and you're not sure if the color is going to work with the one that goes with the main piece, so maybe that can happen, but 9 times out of 10, if you're working with a full set, it's going to work out. And as a newer Lolita, that is great. That's a very good thing, because now you don't have to worry about are the socks going to match, is the accessory, jewelry going to match, is the headbow going to match, like you know for a fact that it's all going to match, and that is great. However, it can sort of start to seem like a little bit of a crutch, like the longer you wear Lolita. So sometimes when you're like saying like chord breakdown, a lot of times Lolita, the point of it is to really show off how good you are at putting pieces together, mixing and matching things, and just coming up with like really cool creative looks. That's something that a lot of Lolitas, I would wager most Lolitas love doing. So when it comes to a point where you've been wearing Lolita for a while and maybe like you're like recognized in the community after a while, people are going to start noticing if all you wear is full sets. Like all the time. Like if every time you whip out your Little Bunny Strawberry from Angelic Pretty, people are gonna wonder, okay, so Little Bunny Strawberry with the matching head bow again, and the matching wrist cuffs again, and the matching choker again, and the matching socks again. And so it starts to really feel as though maybe you're kind of relying on the full set because you don't know how to put together a unique original chord. Because, you know, like for example, let's just use that as an example. A strawberry coordinate is very, very easy to coordinate without relying on the full set. Like, you can get strawberry OTKs from Taobao, you can get strawberry OTKs from brands, you can mix and match brand OTK pieces. It's not very difficult. There's tons of strawberry themed headwear, there's tons of strawberry themed accessories. You don't have to rely on a full set for a strawberry themed piece. However, when it's something a little bit more specific, like say my unicorn macaron dessert station, while macaron accessories are of course, you know, very, very easy to find in Lolita, they're not always going to match well. So just because you have a piece that's macaron themed, is it going to match well? Is it going to look out of place? Is it going to be like super realistic looking macarons compared to like very cartoony, cutesy looking macarons like the ones that you see here online? Like, so I can understand like at a point where it's like, and then if you can find them, can you find everything? Like, can you find macaron themed OTKs that are going to go with it? Can you find a macaron themed head bow that is going to go with it? Like the colorway that I have on, the black, am I going to find something that really works? So that can sort of be where like this disconnect kind of happens with Lolitas, where it's like, okay, like, yeah, there's nothing technically wrong with wearing a full set, but like, is that all you want to wear? Like, do you not have any creativity, you know, like in that noodle of yours? Is there nothing in there like jumping out at you and saying like, hey, like, is this all you can really come up with? The full set again and again and again? So that's kind of where a lot of Lolitas, and I guess newer Lolitas, feel a bit pressured in some regards to maybe say, oh, well, originally, like, everyone wants to get the full set because that's like a status symbol, honestly. Like, I was able to get the full set. Like, generally that's something to be happy about, but now I'm hearing getting the full set is a bad thing. So I'm kind of trying to here to clear the air a little bit as to whether or not full sets are just straight up bad or good. Obviously, with everything, there is always some place in the middle where the true answer lies. Yes, full sets are good and they are bad. Now, that sounds very harsh, but of course they can be good and they can be bad depending on how often you're using them. If you're using them as a crutch, you know, let's just talk about a few of those things right here. So when are full sets good? As previously established, full sets are good when you are a newer Lolita. When you're a newer Lolita and you want to wear something that's really like extravagant and very difficult to coordinate naturally, full sets are great if you don't know what to have. Like if you don't know if some OTKs are going to match, you like really like these OTKs, really unique, creative, different, but you just don't know if they're going to match the piece that you're trying to put together, you really might want to stick with the full set. Additionally, full sets are good when you are just trying to figure things out. Like even if you like kind of have an idea for like putting together coordinates in different pieces, but you're just not sure yet, it's always a good idea to have a full set in the back so that maybe it's like, well, I wasn't really sure, like I wanted to try out this new thing, but it didn't end up looking good and now I have nothing. Well, now you have your full set to fall back on, so you can still go to your meetup and have fun with your friends and not have to worry about if your cord is looking a little crusty or ita, as it were. Now, one thing I want to say about the good side of full sets is full sets are good if it's like really just a passion piece of yours, like it's your favorite print of all time and you really just want to have the full entire everything for it. So like this, Unicorn Macaroni Dessert Station for me is that piece for me. It is by far my favorite dress in my entire wardrobe. I love the theming of it and everything, so I wanted to have as many pieces of it as I could. So when I purchased it, I got the matching head bow, of course, which is generally the easiest thing that you can get. 9 times out of 10 you'll be able to find the matching head bow with the dress, but I was really lucky to get the matching choker, and I think I got the matching OTK separately. There are also some matching wrist cuffs. Like this was a huge release for a Taobao dress. So there are also matching wrist cuffs, which I don't have yet. I would like to get them at some point, but I don't have them yet. And I think there was another matching piece, like they have a matching bonnet, but I don't really want that. So basically there are a ton of matching pieces that I could get if I wanted to, but I wouldn't always want to wear them together. Like for example, the coordinate I'm wearing today is not a full set. I decided to mix it up for the skit, of course, but this is something that I can see myself wearing just in general. The candy sprinkle head bow does go with it because it's one of those black pastel on black pieces. Of course, I just have a bunch of miscellaneous accessories that just pull the whole thing together, and it just shows that I'm able to come up with mixing and matching pieces that can work together without relying on the full set. But like I said, if it's a piece that you really like, just like your favorite print of all time, there is no shame in having the full set. That doesn't mean you're gonna wear it as the full set every time. It's just, you know, fun to have the full set sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that. Another thing about having the full set that's a really good thing, I would say, is for like meetups when you are just honestly really lazy. Let's say that you and your friends are just planning a meetup and it was kind of like a really last minute thing. You really weren't planning on going and you really just don't feel like coming up with like the coolest, most unique coordinate that you can think of. This is why it's good to have an all reliable full set that you can just whip out of your closet, pull it on out, throw everything out on the floor, and you are good to go. You have no concern in the world about whether or not it's going to look good. You don't have to think about the coordinate. You don't have to go back and forth. Do I want to wear these socks or these socks? And do I want to wear this one or that one? You just have everything ready to go. So a full set for when you're lazy is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with admitting that. There's nothing wrong with every so often occasionally not wanting to be doing your like most 100% original, unique, creative coordinate. You can tone it down some days. And by tone down, I mean like just relax, just not think too much about it. Just put together a coordinate that is a full set and it's easy to go. But back on the bad spectrum of things, it can appear as though you are not really learning how to coordinate. And I think, you know, honestly for me, that's just something I wouldn't understand. If you want to be a Lolita, I would think that as a Lolita, one of the things that you would want to do is come up with like beautiful, unique, original coordinates. Because honestly, who wants to be the person, unless it's like an inside joke, where everyone is wearing Sugary Carnival and everyone is wearing it as the full set. Like, if you're wearing all different colorways, that could be one thing. But if everyone is like wearing Sugary Carnival in pink, and everyone is wearing Sugary Carnival in pink with the matching pink head bow and pink socks and pink everything else, you know, you're just kind of like a bunch of clones at that point. Like, don't you want to be the one that's like standing out and wearing like the jewelry jelly head bow and like some Taobao OTKs and shoes and some Taobao accessories, some really cute accessories that are not just like brand. You know, at some point you kind of want to stand out and be unique and say, hey, I really like how you put that together. Like, that's like kind of the thing that I find inspiration from. I really love people who can just put together an outfit that is not all like this piece and that one and this one and this one and they all match and I know it's gonna work together. It can be intimidating when you're first starting out to be like certain if the coordinate is gonna work out. And at that point it's just a game of like, you know, you have to try sometimes and you have to fail sometimes. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, hey, maybe it'll work with something else. So I understand that there is a level of pressure to like kind of understand from the get-go whether or not it's going to work. And at some points, in some cases, some dresses, it's very easy to tell if it's going to work or if it's not going to work. And if it's not going to work, you're probably just not going to buy it in the first place. But there are some where I can see like where there might be a maybe it'll work, but I'm not sure because the theming is similar. Like for a lot of my chi dresses, you know, sometimes you can get some sort of like iconography that's like very Chinese, Japanese, Asian. But it doesn't work for everything. Like some of them, it's going to work better for chi, and it's not really going to work for wa. Some of it's going to do vice versa. It's not always going to work together just because there's some Asian imagery going on. It doesn't mean it's going to work with a dress that has like just sakura petals on it, and then you get socks that have cranes on them. Well, there's no cranes in the dress. It might not necessarily work out as well as it like kind of worked in your head. So in that kind of case, it's good to fall back on just some plain sakura themed OTKs. But those sakura themed OTKs don't have to be from the set. Another thing to think about is, remember, a lot of dresses don't come in sets. Like, when we're talking about big brands, yes, it's very common that they will. But if you're buying, like, lower budget, this is kind of a thing where, like, full sets can be a bad thing. It's like, they're often very, very expensive, especially secondhand. Getting the entire full set, usually secondhand requires someone else to have that. And if they're selling the entire full set, 9 times out of 10, it is not going to be cheap. And as a newer Lolita, you are probably not going to be willing to spend $400, $500, $600 on your first piece because that first piece is really a full set. And now I have a full set and that's great, but one, it drained out a ton of my resources, and two, I can really only be sure that I can wear this one thing together, and it's gonna be like kind of boring after a while. So full sets can be very, very expensive, especially secondhand. So if you're someone who buys from Taobao, which is usually new, you have to keep in mind that 9 times out of 10, the full set is not really going to be an option. It's just going to usually be a dress and a head bow. Maybe there'll be a blouse. But you kind of have to learn, like, early on how to coordinate, which is kind of why I really like, again, I've always been more of a Taobao girl than a brand girl, but, you know, that's kind of why I like Taobao, because it kind of forces you to learn how to coordinate, because there's just so few full sets on there. Like I said, Unicorn Macaron Dessert Station was, like, a rarity. That's, like, once in a blue moon, you will get a small brand or an indie brand that can really do, like, the full set. Head bow, dress, even socks, usually you can kind of find that fairly easily, but like a choker, you know, the wrist cuffs, these are not the matching ones again, in case you're just joining me for whatever reason, these are not the matching wrist cuffs, but they do have matching wrist cuffs for this dress. They have just a ton of matching pieces. That's not usually like the norm for indie. So if you're buying indie, it really does like put you in the mindset of, okay, so how am I going to put this together in a like coordinates? And it really just does help you like learn how to cord. Learning how to cord is not easy. It's not easy for anyone. You kind of just like, again, trial and error. You see what works and you see what doesn't work. And eventually at some point you come out learning how to coordinate. And that's really what the end game is, right? So that's good and all. But again, full sets as a whole are not universally good or universally bad. They are good in many situations when you're in your Lolita, when you just don't feel like thinking, when it's your favorite print and you just really want to just have that feeling inside internally like, yes, I got my favorite print full set. That's when it's great. But they are bad when, again, they're very expensive. 2, when you're over relying on them, in which case you're just never really learning how to coordinate. You're just kind of relying on the fact that it works and I don't really need anything else. And 3, like, it just kind of like holds you back, honestly. Like, just, I feel like if you want to learn how to coordinate well, you have to get out of your comfort zone, and getting pieces that are not in the full set are just straightforward ways of getting you out of your comfort zone, because it's forcing you to think. It's forcing you to say, like, to figure out how to put pieces together. And that's why lookbooks can be very helpful. So if you're someone who like is kind of struggling to get out of full sets, one thing that can help you is looking at lookbooks. Lolitas who do just put like out full coordinates from like either one dress and do like one dress 4 coordinates. I really love those videos. Those are great. Like one look will usually be like the full set or something like that, and then the other one will be like mixing and matching all kinds of different colors. Like those are things that can help you out. Nowadays, of course, Instagram, you can look for all sorts of Lolitas on there who do these just beautiful, gorgeous coordinates. I've learned so much, not only just falling in love with pieces in general, but just how someone coordinated it. Like not using the full set pieces can really like just draw you into a piece that you otherwise might not have liked. Like just say like you just don't really care for the matching head bow or the matching OTKs, and you saw someone wear it with like other pieces and it like really just drew you into the dress. That's always fun. So there are just plenty of ways, if you're stuck in like this comfort zone of always wearing full sets or primarily navigating towards full sets, it can really help you to see how other Lolitas coordinate things to kind of like get you out of that bubble. So I think I was a little bit all over the place with this video, unfortunately. Like I said, I planned this out about a year ago, and so there were some points that I ended up adding on and some points that maybe I forgot about, but I do hope that I sort of was able to explain like the goods and the bads of both sides, of when full sets are good and when full sets are bad or a little bit lacking. I know people don't like harsh terminology, but at some point in time, yeah, full sets can be kind of a bad thing if you rely on them too much. But I do hope that I kind of laid out the pros and cons of each. And do let me know in the comment section below. Do you like full sets? Do you strongly dislike full sets? Do you strongly dislike full sets and never want to touch any? Do you own any full sets? And if so, for what releases? For what prints? For what brands? Taobao brands, of course, I would love to know too. It doesn't have to just be brand. Like big brand, angelic pretty. Let me know what kind of full sets you have and if you like them. Let me know what full sets you would like to get. If you have a favorite print and you are missing some pieces, let me know in the comments which full set would you want. And just let me know your general thoughts. Do you think that it's perfectly fine to wear full sets whenever you want all the time and it doesn't really mean anything bad? Or are you kind of yeah, full sets are okay sometimes, but generally speaking, you kind of want to know how to put together or coordinate a little bit more creatively than that. But other than that, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.